Hi, it's Chad Seay from Seay Real Estate here in Richmond, Virginia. Today I want to talk to you about appraisals. An appraisal, by definition, is a person's opinion of the value of the object that's being appraised. So in real estate specifically, a man or woman will give their opinion, and they'll give supporting evidence as to why they believe that the value is a certain amount. Whether it's a piece of land, a piece of commercial property, a piece of residential real estate. We sell residential real estate, that's what we see all the time. So as it relates to land or houses or condominiums or townhouses, something that a person would live in, or a piece of land where someone would build something to live in, that's what we see on a daily basis. And appraisals, because they're opinions of value, they can vary. One person to the next may think the value is different. They're going to do research and they're going to base their findings on things that have recently sold. But again, the interpretation of that data can differ. Sometimes relocation companies, if they are going to buy an employee's home so that they can move to their next location, they'll have two appraisals done, and you know what? If they vary by more than a certain percentage, they'll order a third appraisal. When you call your local realtor to come out and give you an idea of the value of your house, he or she won't do an appraisal typically, but they're going to use the same data that an appraiser would, and they are going to do what's sometimes called a comparative market analysis to give you an idea of the value of your property. Therefore, when you call different realtors, they can have different ideas regarding the value of the house. So that's an appraisal. When you sell your house, if someone is getting financing, oftentimes they are going to borrow money based on the loan being no more than a certain percentage of the value of the house. Therefore, the lending institution will send an appraiser there, and they have to prove that it's worth what the contract says it is. Now in today's market, we're finding sometimes buyers are willing to come up with extra money to make up that difference between the appraised value and what they're actually under contract to buy it for. So that's a unique element that's in play right now. But typically the bank has to appraise it for what the buyer's paying for it or no deal. So what an appraisal is not, it's not the same as an assessment. If you look at your county tax record or your city tax record, they'll have your house assessed for a certain amount of money. And that is not always an accurate gauge of the value. Sometimes it is, but you know what? Sometimes we sell houses for a whole lot more than the assessed value, and sometimes a whole lot less. The local government doesn't always visit the property. They don't see it the way an appraiser or a realtor would. They're not in it and physically inspecting it. So don't confuse assessment with appraisal. Also, an appraisal is not a home inspection. So sometimes I'll meet seller clients. I'll be talking with someone about selling their house, and they'll say, well, I don't want to do a VA loan or an FHA loan because of their inspectors. And it's not a home inspection, it's an appraisal. And the reason people get confused sometimes is when an appraiser goes out to appraise a house, they'll say, I'm stopping by to inspect the house at a certain time. And they are inspecting it in that they're walking through it and taking some notes, but it's not going to be a detailed home inspection. That's something entirely different, something we encourage our buyer clients to do, where that home inspector will be under the house and in the attic and inspecting all the components of the house. Appraisers don't do that. If they see something obvious as they're walking through, something that doesn't meet the guidelines of the type of financing that the buyer is getting, they'll make a note of it. And sometimes a lender will say, you know what, we won't loan the money unless this or that gets addressed because it needs to meet the guidelines for this particular type of loan, but it's not a detailed home inspection. So a little bit about appraisals today. I hope you have a fabulous week. I'm Chad Seay with Seay Real Estate.